So welcome back, everybody. We have an awesome test today, and it's because several of you viewers have asked about it, including one viewer who's looking to purchase a system right now, emailed me asking if this was possible, and I said, you know what? I think I might have this cord. Let's test it out. Plus, I just noticed a new feature on the EcoFlow app that might be a game changer if I'm understanding it correctly. All right, y'all, welcome to our pantry where we have our EcoFlow Ultra set up in here. We've already did lots of reviews and tests on this system. Been running it a lot over the past year with all the multiple hurricanes and power outages that we have. Now this is a big 240 volt portable inverter right here, and you can stack up to 5 batteries with it. We have 3 right now, so you can go from 1 to 5. It'll run everything in our house, from our central AC, our well pump, including our dryer if we needed to, although we typically don't run that in emergency situations. It's got dual solar inputs. That's the way a lot of people recharge these. But the big question is, these 2 cables right here run out to some generators. And people want to know, since this has 240 volt output, can you leave it connected to your main panel like we have it right here, powering up our entire house? Currently I have 1100 watts going out, running freezers, refrigerators, computers, security, everything in the house is running off of this system. But what people want to know is, can I charge this unit with a small portable generator, say you don't have enough solar, cloudy day, or you don't have solar at all, and still output 240 volts at the same time to run my main panel? So the reason I have 2 extension cords down here is one's going to go to a small generator. We're going to use the standard plug right here. Then I got my hand on EcoFlow's 30 amp plug right here that plugs in the side of the unit. This goes into a larger generator and will allow you to charge up well over the 7,000 watts of capacity of the unit. So the big question is, can we rapid charge this unit from a big generator, charge it at the same time, and never unplug this from the house, keeping everything running and seamless? So there's one way to find out. We're running 240 volt outputs, powering up my main panel from this unit. We're going to start off with a small generator, plug in, see if we can run, and then we'll go to the big plug right here and a big generator and see if we can make enough power to charge this unit and to run other stuff in the house. Up until recently, that was not an option. However, I just updated my app and firmware, and I see something new in here. All right, so we're connected to my Ultra right now, and this new feature that I have never noticed before just popped up. It's called X Fusion. So whenever I click on that for information, it clearly says X Fusion allows the device to output 240 volts while being charged at 120 volts. X Fusion only works in fast charging. All right, it's so dark in here, I'm gonna turn on a light. What that means is you better have your switch right there. See that little selector switch? It has fast and slow. If you put it on slow, you can go in this app and set this up to say charge at 100 or 500 watts or whatever you want. If you put that to fast charging, it goes to full 1800 watts. And we have to have that in the fast position in order to use this X Fusion, assuming this works like how I think. Now what that's going to do is charge this unit at 1800 watts. And what I have noticed in the past before, if I was running a small generator and I stayed under 1800 watts, the generator ran fine. But as soon as I went over 1800 watts, it's like it was doing pass-through, basically acting as a battery backup. It would trip my generator out when I turned on something like my central AC. So it wasn't actually working in conjunction with this outputting 240 and working correctly. So let's see if this new update and that feature has changed that. All right, for this test, I am testing this new EcoFlow unit right here. This is their new SG3000 generator. We'll put it on auto, and this is actually designed, it's a smart generator to communicate with their small Delta 3 series units, and it will output power to it as needed. They basically communicate with each other. Now the Ultra doesn't offer that, so you'll have to manually come out and start this, but that's okay. This will at least output 1800 watts that we need to run this test. Now this has a built-in battery and starter, so you can manually start it, or we can start this up with electric start. All right, it hasn't, wow, fired right up. This hasn't been run in days, and it fired up on the second crank. All right, now I apologize. I know it's dark in here, but it's a pantry. So we're gonna put the charging wall cable into this, and I'm gonna plug this into the little extension cord going out there to that generator. We should pull in 1800 watts, and then I'm gonna go kick my AC on, and I wanna output more than 1800 watts and see if the generator trips like it used to in the past. Supposedly, I think that's been fixed. All right, so we're plugged in. This should slowly ramp up. All right, so I hear the generator has ramped itself up out there. We are charging. We're still outputting, but again, I need my output to be more than the generator to make for sure this is working correctly. So we're gonna kick on our central AC, which is 240 volts. Obviously that little generator is 120 volts, can't run it. So if this kicks on and runs, we know we're getting the true 240 volts out of the Ultra. All right, we should see this spike and go, and all right, this is not working. So we're gonna unplug this. See how it tripped out my generator? I experienced this in the past. All right, so here's a little update. I have tried to figure out what the heck was going on because I know I've read this correctly, that it's supposed to work. Well, I went back in my phone on the app and there was a second update, apparently 2 firmware updates. The one that I did earlier was for the Wi-Fi, and there was another firmware update for this unit. I have not tested it, so as you can see, we're running the central AC again, doing true 240 volt output. I got the generator running outside. Let's plug this back in and see if it kicks out the small generator now that we've did the firmware update. Wait a minute, it is working. All right. The firmware update fixed it. So we are running the small generator out there with the standard wall plug while outputting 240 volts and running the house, including running the central AC. Now something obviously tripped out. We lost a little bit of power. Oh yeah, like see, it did. I didn't like the surge that I seen when this kicked on. It kicked a few things out. That's why the power dropped a few hundred watts. So that wasn't a smooth transition, but I'm curious whenever we run the bigger generator if it will be. There was definitely some surge and stuff going on, but we are running the small generator. It is inputting power, but you can see we're outputting more than the generator. But you can see it's saying we could run for 1 day and 4 hours like this right now, including running the central AC. So yes, the update did work. That is a game changer for this, especially if you have a small little generator. All right, so we are going to take this new cable right here. Again, sorry it's so dark. And we're going to put it on this port on the side. This is an input-output port. It can do in or out, high wattage, high voltage, 240 volts. So that adapter right there will allow us to run over to this large 240 volt extension cord that's going to a big generator I'm about to show you. I want to see if whenever it clicks over, if it's a smoother transition than what we just seen. All right, over here is my big boy generator. 9,375 watts, 7,500 running watts. So it is capable of giving us the full 7,200 watts of input in there via this 30 amp plug, maybe even 7,500 watts. So this is what a lot of people want to know. Can I get a cheap big generator like this and rapid charge my unit while it's still running the entire house? You're probably wondering, why would people want to do this? Well, it's because a lot of people already have these generators. They want to be able to charge them up during the day, make the noise, charge their system, not have to unplug anything. And then at nighttime, what we love to do with our Ultra system is run it all night long, central AC, everything, while we're without power. It's nice and quiet. Nobody wants to hear these loud generators, plus they are fuel hogs. But since we just built a very large solar array over here behind our privacy fence, I don't think we're ever going to have to fire a generator up again unless it's really cloudy during the time that we're having a power outage. Man, that thing is so loud. I'm ready to get away from generators and go to all quiet stuff. All right, so now we're going to take this plug, which is an L1430 plug, and hook it up to your standard generator plug right here. I should also mention I'm running on a 50-foot generator cord here. All right, already kicked on that quick. Much smoother transition, y'all. And by the way, I have input charging set up to 6,000 watts in the app. I didn't want it going up to 7,000 plus watts. And you could set this to whatever you want in the app so you don't have to put a tremendous load on your generator. Now check that out. This is the way to go. The big 30 amp plug and a big generator. Tiny light flicker, everything was smooth, nothing kicked out. We're still running the entire house, the central AC, and we're bringing in 6,000 watts of power. And this says we'll be charged up in 36 minutes, all while we're still outputting 2,500 watts. This is awesome. I'm so happy it worked both ways. This is a huge update, y'all. This is a huge update. Let me tell you about the EcoFlow specials that they have going on right now. Since we've already been showing and talking about their equipment, now's the time of the year for the biggest discounts of the year. So major discounts are now running from the 21st all the way through December the 2nd, with some special sales November 25th through the 29th. There's going to be savings up to $4,000 off during some of this time, and I'll have a special discount code down in the description. You need to check that out for some extra saving. Whether it be whole house systems like our EcoFlow Delta Ultra that you've seen, that's bailed us out of many hurricanes and emergencies that we've recently experienced, up to super powerful systems like the Delta Pro 3, all the way down to the Delta 3 series, which is excellent for running freezers, refrigerators, medical equipment, or any other smaller use appliances. EcoFlow's got a whole host of items that are currently on some of the best sales that you'll find this year. Again, don't forget to check out the description where I'll have all the links and discount codes for that. Now back to the video. All right, hopefully y'all enjoyed it. That was a good test. I've had several of y'all reach out and ask about that, and I'm so glad I had that cable and we could do this test. And EcoFlow, thank y'all for listening and doing that update. So I discovered many months ago when doing some testing before this was ever launched that it wouldn't work with the generator. And I remember asking them, I wasn't sure if they could do a firmware update or whatever it was. And I'm not gonna take credit for it. I'm sure other people that were testing these units asked as well. Well, I didn't know the update happened, and sure enough, now make sure your firmware is updated or it will not work, but you can charge via 120 or 240 while outputting 240, running your house, ultimately never unplugging your system. This is amazing. So thank you, EcoFlow, for listening. This is why myself and other channels love getting beta unit stuff before it's ever released to the public, doing testing, giving feedback. I will give EcoFlow credit. They have definitely listened to us over the years as we test. They do awesome firmware updates, make changes, and they listen to you, the consumer, as well. That's what us middle people do. We take your input and we give it back to the company itself. That makes me really excited. Even though we now have so much solar input, we may never have to fire up a generator again. At least I know the option's there, and I no longer have to unplug my Ultra during an emergency outage in order to charge it. That's something I had to do in the past. This is more of a game changer than some of y'all realize until you've actually used this equipment and then realize you have to power it down, shut your house down, keep your house powered off for a few hours, charge via generator, assuming you don't have solar. If you have solar, none of this applies to you. And then plug it back in and fire your house back up. Now, you literally just plug a generator in, keep everything running. That is awesome that you can put 120 volts in while outputting 240. That's a big deal. All right, y'all, hopefully enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, we have this sweet little generator review coming up. I had a bunch of people ask about the smart generators, so I set some time aside to do some testing for you. We'll catch you on the next one.